Hello, everybody, and welcome to Scanner Monkey TV. My name is Cordelia, and our guest tonight is Milas. And I'm going to take one quick second to tell you about the group Scanner Monkey, and we are hosting this show. We do a show every week. Scanner Monkey is a resource group. It's a community and a trade organization for online sellers. One of our members has said of us that we are a combination of motivated sellers, great ideas, encouragement, suggestions, and product discounts in a no drama environment. Doesn't matter if you're a newbie or have some experience, you will find your tribe at Scanner Monkey. So it's only $19.99 a month, scannermonkey.com. So if you're not already a member, please join today. Okay, so that is the little promo for the group. Milas is a member, and I invited Milas to be our guest. He's a relatively new seller, but his approach to becoming an Amazon seller, I think, is just really phenomenal. I've enjoyed getting to know him. We both live in Atlanta, and we both become friends through the Atlanta Online Sellers Group, and he's just a really neat guy. So I really wanted to interview him for the show because I think the lessons he's brought from his previous business that he's applying to his FBA business are something we can all learn from. So thank you for being on the show, Milas.
Okay.
Was that too much of a buildup? Do you feel pressure now?
A little. They'd be like, oh, this guy.
Milas is a god amongst men. Go.
Right.
So first of all, can you tell us a little bit about your pizza business that you built up?
Started it in about 11 years ago, 2006. And I started it with, I went to my dad and I borrowed 2 credit cards. And I told him I'd pay him $100 a month till I gave them back. So I literally started with 2 credit cards and a used oven. And that was 11 years ago. And now we have 3 locations and been just trying to make it work ever since, you know, because banks really, nope, not part of the equation.
Yeah.
So I just built it from there. Yeah. So that's
you started with 1 location.
Yes. Yep.
And then
literally
you learned that you weren't supposed to use a kitchen oven. You were supposed to use a commercial oven.
Right. We went to Best Buy. We said, why are we paying $1,000 for commercial freezers and refrigerators? We can start right here. So we bought Best Buy and quickly found out they're not made to be open constantly during the day. And so, oh, that's why. Then what about this freezer here? Well, that's why. So it was a lot of, oh, that's why they do that. That's why they cost a lot of money.
All those people aren't just wrong.
Right.
They might do something.
Like $300 for a refrigerator. That's a 0 missing. Let's do it.
So how long did it take you for your first location to at least pay for itself?
Ooh, that was our first week. We did $400 in sales. Our first month, we did $5,000 in sales. Now, I mean, the 3, we're about a little over 5 million now. But our first week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it probably took the first year. Yeah, it was touch and go. It was close. I was literally out there every day, door hanging, talking to people. Then I'd go work in the store, and then I'd leave in the evening and go door hang. Yeah, it was first 12 months.
So you worked both the kind of marketing angle and you just were working in the pizza restaurant too.
Yes. Yep.
So
we call manufactured sales. Literally went out there, put it in their hand.
And but you did it. Then when did you open your second location?
That was probably, it's about 6 years ago. Yeah, it's about 6 years. Yep.
And then number 3 came when?
About a year and a half ago.
Okay. Now you have a business partner. That's right?
Yes, Jason Black. Yep.
And he's your partner also in your Amazon, like you guys are partners in business. So you run the pizza business together, and he's also in the FBA business as well.
Yes. Yep.
So when did you first get the idea to sell on Amazon? Like when did the light bulb go off?
Well, originally, I figured we got big enough that I wanted to start importing our supplies so we can get better rates. So I went to China for a pizza box. And I had never even considered Amazon until I got over there and I saw an Amazon class. Mark Scott Adams, you guys probably heard of him, and I took it. And then after that, I was like, well, wait a minute. I'm already over here. I said, and so I started dabbling in it and started talking with people, came back, and I just started doing it right then, as soon as I got off the plane.
So now you went for pizza boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get your cost from like $1.50 down to 40 cents a box or something like that?
We saved 30%. When I would go over there, we would get our boxes for like 40, 45 cents here. Over there, they were 9 cents. After shipping, it cost more to ship than the box. So
Right.
the box ended up being 19 cents versus 40, 45 we were paying. To come from all the way over there to LA port, to the railroad, to trucks, to our store was still that much cheaper.
Wow. That's just amazing. And you guys, I mean, how many pizza boxes do you use like a year?
Well, we order about a container every 6 weeks, so it's about 25,000 boxes a month is what we use. That's why I decided to go over there. I figured, hey,
Yeah.
we order enough now. Let's get them direct. So, yep.
Okay, so so you took this class. What kinds of did you see product when you were there that you wanted to sell, or you just kind of held off until you got home?
Well, I was overwhelmed. Yeah, I didn't know what I was looking at or what they were doing, and people would tell me, I found 20 products to think about. I said, what do you mean found? I mean, they're all products. What does that mean? I'm going to research them and sell them. Isn't that what everybody else is doing? I was just totally lost until I finally, when I got back and began to understand what they meant. So, but yes.
So how did you go ahead? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, I didn't know anything coming from over there. I was just buzzing. So my first trip was totally like the Matrix when they say he's going to pop.
So you went specifically to source boxes, which you did successfully. So in that sense, it was worth it.
Yeah.
And then your eyes opened. So what happened? Did you like go to your partner and you were like, hey, we have to do something new now? What did you guys talk about?
Well, I explained to, because the restaurant business has really changed and it's gotten harder, which is why I was over there. We had to save costs. And so I told him what the basic model was, but I saw it as a bridge to get into retail, period, not just RA. RA would just allow you to start anywhere.
Right.
Yeah, so when I talked to him, he said, okay, well, why don't you take some time and just develop that and I'll hold the fort here. So he focuses completely on the restaurant. I focus completely on Amazon now. And we sort of console about each one, but we've sort of broken off so we can focus.
That's amazing. That shows a profound amount of trust, I think, between the two of you that, he said, okay, go do that. I'll handle this. And
well, we went to high school together. So we were high school friends, and we've already failed once together. We had a restaurant called Big Fella's Pizza. Probably it was before the World Trade Center. That's how I remember. Before we had it about 2 years, and we failed.
Okay.
And I remember I turned to my partner afterwards. I said, we have to try it again. He was like, why? We was all devastated. I said, we have to make this failure mean something. So,
that is really good. I mean, that's really good advice is, we have to make this failure mean something. And so I know that the business I had immediately before I started my Amazon business failed. And I felt the same way. Like I had to make that business mean something and learn from it and not just have it be like a failure. So how did you turn that failure? Like, what did you learn from it?
We learned to listen to our customers. What we tried to do was emulate what Pizza Hut, Papa John's, what they were doing. So we would discount our pizza, run specials, and our customers just kept telling us how good our food was. They were saying your USP, your unique selling position, is quality of food, the taste, but we kept focusing on price. So we weren't making any money. We was losing our shirt in cost because obviously with their scale, they could afford to be profitable, and we couldn't. So the next time around, we decided to go the quality route. Don't try to just make our own real quick. So we said, let's differentiate. Domino's was about service. Papa John was about quality. Pizza Hut was about price. So we changed the size of our pizzas. So they were off sizes. Our large is an extra large, so we can control our price. We do our pizza like bread, so we can beat Domino's to the door. And quality is easy because Papa John's has abandoned it. It's all processed now. So we just start using fresh ingredients. So in each facet, we could do something better than they do.
That's great. And then you came up with the name Da Vinci's, which I love. Great name.
He actually had a dream. He dreamed that we had opened a restaurant. It was called Da Vinci. So I said, well, I know what that's what we're going to call it. Our work is a pizza art.
Okay. So you started Amazon, and one of the things I love about how you started is that you kind of, you weren't like, what am I going to sell? This is my thing. I have to sell this. You're not particularly invested in what you're selling, but you are being very systematic about how you're selling it so that you learn from it. So can you talk to us a little bit about your thought process behind what you're selling?
Well, my compass is the fact I wanted to be a filmmaker. I've done one film already, and that ultimately I wanted to do movies. So everything I did was, how do I get back to that passion? So for me, I focused on products that are related to it. Like I told you before, like movie night treats. So I focused on products because everything sells. You just got to have an angle to sell it. So I focused on, like, what's the first thing you do think about movies? Candy. So I'm focused on candy. I said, if I can sell a mass market product in candy, the rest should be easy. So as you know, I started with Skittles.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say it. You said it. But
I don't mind. They're everywhere. But you got to have a way to sell it. That's no secret product. And I thought, because as marketing, that's what Da Vinci's taught me. It's like, so I sat and I thought about it. I said, why do people buy Skittles? Because that's where they happen to be. That's where they buy them from, because they happen to be there. So they can buy them from me when they happen to see my product. That's sort of my approach, because they're everywhere. Okay. That's why they buy them. So I think about everything. Why does somebody buy this? At what price and why?
And the other thing that I love about what you did is, and so you're just buying them retail and really reselling them on Amazon.
Mm-hmm. I did that for practice. Yes.
Practice.
I still do it, but I did that so I could learn, really learn what I was doing.
And I love that so many people come in and the drive to be insanely profitable right away almost like immobilizes you.
Yes.
And it's like, I mean, even like when I teach my bundling class, I tell people, your first 10 bundles, if you buy that stuff retail, but know you can get it wholesale, even if you don't make money, you're learning about that product, and then if you should order it wholesale, but you're testing it. So it's not always about the instant profit. It's about the lesson and how you can then apply it to make much greater profit over time, hopefully.
Yes.
And so you also really think about the whole process. So you pack it, you put your stuff in boxes, you want the whole experience for the customer to be perfect.
That comes from the pizza background, because people eat with their eyes. So the first thing is presentation. So when my name, I came with Pandora's Gift, and it's experience the present. That's sort of like the tagline.
That's cute.
So I wanted, when they received it, like they were getting a gift, because everybody likes to get, when your order comes, it feels like a present. So when they open it, I wanted the box to represent that. So I had the Skittles are in there like pillows, and the box has the lip that opens up. So it's the whole presentation. So yeah, that's sort of my angle when I'm selling my product. Experience the present.
And also your pizza box experience kind of taught you how to buy boxes and stuff, and price and all that, so you can still make a profit.
Learn about flutes, thickness, crush weight, all of that. Look, everybody's like, flute, what is that? Yeah, it's the thickness of
what was the first one? Flute?
Yes, that's the thickness of the sidewall of the box.
Okay. Like the instrument, flute, F-L-U-T-E?
That's how it's spelled, but it just means the thickness of cardboard.
Okay. I did not know that. I will say that I had one product that I used to wholesale the heck out of, and it was a food product, and the packaging it came in was this really thin cardboard box, And I got a bunch of product reviews. This was when I first started selling, that said that it would like arrive flat, like mushed flat.
Mm-hmm.
And so I basically did the same thing you did, which is I just ordered boxes from, at the time I ordered them from Bubble Fast, but they're those white cardboard boxes, and you assemble them, and they're almost like mini pizza boxes.
Yes. Yep.
But I boxed it myself. I didn't call the manufacturer and be like, your boxing stinks, fix it.
Right.
I just took care of it, And so that is something you can definitely do when you're selling, whether you're wholesaling or whatever. You always want to think about the customer experience, and then also kind of like what the warehouse experience is going to do to your product.
Yeah.
Because you can't expect Amazon or any warehouse really, because I used to work in a business. We had a warehouse. You just cannot expect them to, they're processing tons of orders or moving very quickly, and they're just not going to baby your product.
I box everything. I treat Amazon like a post office. So I've put some pictures up. I may have 300 items go out. There's 300 boxes. And as a whole, when they go in a box, that strength of that box holds everything, as all those cardboard boxes together. So I don't get any damage now. When I first started, I would get some damage. Now, never. And then it helps my reimbursement, because if that box is open, they can't say they didn't get it. When Amazon says, warehouse damage or customer damage, that if it's not because the label's gone now, because it's on the box instead of on the barcode of the product. So that helps my reimbursements.
Okay. So now you had the thing happen to you that everybody's afraid of happening. Now you've only been, when did you start? You started last year. So you only started in 2016.
Yes, in June.
So when did July. So you've only been selling now for less than a year, and you've already been suspended.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I know. Yes, I got my badge, my suspension badge. And it was a very random, it was, a matter of fact, I keep it as a reminder right there, the Batman mug from TJ Maxx, random. So they said I got an inauthentic claim. So I just sent them the receipt. I was down for 3 days, and then they reinstated my account. It just felt, but then when I noticed a few days later, they were all gone except for Amazon and me on this mug. I was like, so did Amazon just want the listing, or what's, you know what I mean? It just seemed weird, because there was probably 15 sellers of this mug.
Interesting. So possibly they're using that as a way to,
it felt so random, you know what I mean? Because I was like, why that mug? Why this one? But that's what it was.
So did you keep RAing? Are you still doing RA a lot?
I am, and I try to stick to merchants that use UPC codes on their receipt, like Belk, Home Depot, Walmart, because they put UPC codes. If you ever, at a minimum, at least you have that. I'm very wary of the Ross and the Marshalls, and I really don't go into that much anymore. Plus, I'm trying to go wholesale and create a lot of my own products. So I'm kind of going over to replenishables, which TJ Maxx and Marshalls, they get batches of stuff, but it's kind of hard to find replenishables. So.
Yeah, one of my bestseller replenishables came from a product that came from Marshalls. Now, I didn't buy it at Marshalls, but this company sold a batch to Marshalls and developed a following. And then this company that I buy from, they don't do consumer sales. They only do wholesale. So I called them about something totally different. And then I said, how are things going? They said, well, we have this one thing that we sold to Marshalls, but they didn't re-up it. And we have all these customers who want to buy it. And I was like, I can help you with that problem. I can solve that problem for you. And so that's become a great seller for me on Amazon. But yeah, they do. They just buy in batches, and then you never know if you're going to be able to get it again or how many. Yeah.
And since then, Amazon has basically probably kicked me off of 3 listings, just straight up, like the body shop. That was a good one. And then they just straight up said, I can't even apply for approval. They just said, we're not taking applications at this time. No penalty for you. Just get off.
Just get off.
Like, okay.
But so one thing that I really admire about what you've done through this whole process is, even though you're doing RA and you're kind of doing the Skittles, the end game for those is for you to learn how to sell on Amazon.
Yes.
So that you can take that knowledge and apply it to your own products. And you jumped right into bundles too. A lot of people are very gun shy of bundles, but you've already jumped in and discovered it. Can you tell us one of your bundle success stories?
Besides the Skittles?
Oh, right. You did Skittle bundling because you need the pink ones and the red ones and the green ones and the blue ones or whatever, right?
Different combos that weren't on there in different sizes. And then I was able to peel off the ones that didn't work. And the ones that worked, I mean, I was like, I even started getting reviews. I'm like, okay. Another bundle. What I like to do now is I bundle it with something they have to use, like muffin mix with muffin liners.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and what that allows me to do is to run ads to get my velocity up to that product. So everybody's selling this particular food item, right? So if I bundle it, then I can run ads, and then I turn them off organically. Now I'll be ahead of that group. And anytime someone sees something free and it's the same price as the other, they just click the free one. Oh, I get the free liners.
So what you do, which I think is interesting, is you're charging. So let's take your muffin mix example. You know, I'm selling the muffin mix for $9.99 or $12.99, and you're selling the muffin mix and the muffin liners for the same exact price.
Exactly. And
To get
like muffin liners are they're like a penny and a half each. So I give them 12, and so that's like 15, 17 cents. And I look at it like a premium listing for myself. I pay the extra 17 gives me.
But you don't split up the muffin things. You're sending them a whole sealed pack, right?
Right. Yep. But see, I can get that from Da Vinci's from my food wholesaler.
Okay. I was like, how do you get those in that small quantity? Okay, cool. So I think that's a great, and that's definitely one thing I've taught too, is that you want to not sell somebody a to-do list. So you kind of want to sell, if there's a project oriented thing or things that go together, if you can combine those so the customer doesn't have to go do anything after they receive this, then that's a bundle. You're making the customer's life easier.
Home Depot called it sell the job. Not just the tool, sell the whole job. Yeah, so that's kind of what I try to do. And I've got a bunch of those. I've probably created 90 listings now. And
that's great.
Now when I see a product that sells, because when a lot of people pile in, the price just keeps falling. I immediately just make a listing. Now I don't even list under any listings now.
You're creating a bundle and adding value.
Yes. Yeah, I'm just not throwing it together. Yeah, like, what do they have to use with this? And I just give it to them.
That's great. And it does take a little bit of thought up front to do that, but it can definitely pay off in the long term. And I feel like it's a great way to learn about a customer group when you create bundles. You see what sells and what's exciting to people, and so I'm a huge bundle fan myself. So. But a lot of people are gun shy about starting bundles when they first start selling, and you just jumped right in. Now, do you take your own photography?
Yes, I do.
And your film, so your film background helps with that. So Milas jumped right in, and now he's getting ready to go back to China, right?
Yes. What I'm doing now, and this evolved from the bundle theory, is I want to merge private label with licensed properties. So I'm going to like the licensing expo, and instead of making a start from scratch private label, let me license a property, then make a private label product with it. Like, for example, Iron Man skateboard. It's already got a built-in audience, and I've got my own product, and I just pay the royalty. So that's what I want.
So yeah, licensing, that's what I had. I wrote a note to myself, and I can't remember what it was. We did a really good show about licensing with Dan and Gina Wagner, who have a business, and they do a lot of licensed products that they have exclusives on now. So that's basically what you're talking about. So I think that's a great way to go. And can you tell us a little bit about kind of some of the pitfalls that you've noticed other sellers falling into that you feel like your business background has maybe helped you avoid?
I think one, chasing the shiny object, and two, patience. People look at their sales, measure yourself against yourself. If your sales are up from previous month or previous year, that's a win. Everybody, how can I get more of this? How can I more? Well, if you're getting more, that's what counts. You can't measure yourself against someone else because you don't know their resources or what their background was giving, whatever it is that they're doing. So that's the one thing
Absolutely.
they discount their own success because of their perceived success with someone else.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. And a lot of times people are afraid to speak up because, somebody will post like, oh, I just sold $30,000 today.
Right,
And you're like,
right,
oh, I sold 300, or whatever, or 30. And, instead of saying that and celebrating that success, they just kind of
right.
clamp. And it's hard. I mean, I know that I've been kind of on both sides of that. I've had great, great, great months where I was super excited about my sales and other months where I wasn't, but you really do have to measure it against yourself and what your goals are and what your profit is and what kind of business you want to run. There's people that have very complex businesses that I would not work for me to run. So,
Mm.
you really, there's a lot involved in it. But we did a show this year in January where we interviewed people who had hit their first million in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of those people started after I did. And I was like, what?
but
I haven't done a
again,
million sales
but
yet,
again,
but like you
but again,
said,
yeah,
they had a totally different business model. They had different capital. They had different priorities. And so I've done very well for what I wanted to accomplish. I definitely have goals ahead of me, but it is easy when you're listening to that show. I wrote to Jay after that show, like, oh man, I feel like crap. I mean, everybody felt nice. Nobody ever said anything to make me feel bad, but I kind of did it to myself. So I
mm-hmm.
think people naturally do that. So yeah, I think that's a really good point, is set your own goals, set your own benchmarks and achieve them. Don put a quote in here. I assume it's a quote unless he just made it up, in which case it's even better, which is comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's a very good one. The other thing we were talking about earlier today is money. The the constant battle between cash flow and growth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Challenging when you're trying to grow a business. You need, especially an inventory-based business, you need to spend more money. And so keeping control of your cash flow and your costs and not getting caught up in like the fervor of spending can be really challenging.
Mm-hmm.
So can you tell me a little bit about your zero out thing that we were talking about earlier?
What I do is pick a benchmark of time to zero out. So you're not caught up in a cash flow debt cycle. So monthly, I'll look at my Amazon deposits and I'll know I'm going to spend less than this sourcing the next month and still grow my inventory. Because when you're buying gift certificates and you see sales out there, it's so easy to just start buying, buying, and buying. And then you've gotten $5,000 or $6,000 in deposits, but you spent $8,000 sourcing. You're caught in a negative cycle, and that only gets worse. So at the end of the
Yeah.
month, I zero out, make sure all the cards are zeroed, I've got a positive cash flow as I go into the next month to begin purchasing.
So if he makes $5,000 in payouts from Amazon, he makes sure that the next month, like say you do that in January, that in February you spend $5,000 or less
Mm-hmm.
on your inventory purchase, and your goal each month isn't just to grow in terms of sales, but to take that $5,000 and instead of earning say $3,000 profit from it, earn $4,000 profit from it, earn $5,000.
And not only that, your sales are naturally going to grow because when you're basically getting your principal back and you still have inventory there. So you can replace even more inventory with that same amount the next month. So you're going to grow at a steady pace. So you don't get ahead of your growth and you run into capital problems.
Right.
Next thing you know, you're spending your deposits and part of your paycheck. And that wasn't why you got into this.
It's really hard. And especially once you start, we were talking about this earlier too, once you start private label, it becomes really challenging because the cycle is so long and you have to buy so much at once. I mean, even a small private label order of 1,000 units, you know, until I get to like a higher velocity, that's at least a 3 or 4 or 6 month supply.
Well, okay, go ahead.
And then, you know, so that's one product. And then if you ordered 1,000 and it's selling well, maybe the next order you want to order 2,000. And then you want to add a second product. And so it's a totally different business model than the whole arbitrage model.
Mm-hmm.
So how are you kind of approaching that?
I'm budgeting. So what I'm doing is as the deposits come in, I want to be able to replace the inventory with less and peel off for like a private label product. So when I launch that private label product, it's completely paid for by the time it even gets to me. I didn't go into debt to buy it. So if it's a total bust, I'm still doing my same cash flow where I am. I feel no effect from it because you can't. There's a saying about missed profit is not a loss. So if I'm buying the private label out of profit and it's a total bust, it's not a loss. It's just profit I didn't realize from some of my other sales.
That's a really good lesson, but it's hard because you don't want to like grow that slowly. Like if you're impatient, like certain people here, it's hard to wait.
But once you fail before, that humbles you. And I think that's taught me to just to be patient. You probably have a lot more patience. You're probably a lot more cautious now. No?
Yeah. I am. And I mean, even though I'm impatient, I'm also very sensitive to the fact that, you know, I never spend more money on my products than we can afford to lose as a family. So that does slow my growth. I don't have huge sales numbers because I just am not investing, you know, $50,000 a month in inventory because that's too high a risk for our family right now.
Mm-hmm. And also, you know, I'm budgeting for, like when the PL gets there, we have to get off the Amazon IV at some point. So I'm also, because Amazon is its own world. That's why I say only on Amazon will 2 cups of frosting sell for $12. That does not translate. So I'm preparing to be able to do sales offline. I mean, Amazon's only 8% of the total market. So why is it getting 100% of our attention?
Yeah, I mean, I do think more people are diversifying across marketplaces. It's definitely a whole different ballgame to bring sales to your own website. It's not necessarily impossible, but it's a totally different game. The other thing that I'm learning a lot about right now, and I'm very interested in, is international. Because the other thing we do is we tend to focus very much on the US market. And depending on what you're selling, I mean, I was talking to Richard Gilbert from Payoneer today, and I've been talking to Phil Leahy from Retail Global, who was supposed to come on, by the way, but he hurt his back. So he is going to be on. Just got to get his back better first. And Richard's going to come on also. But, you know, we were talking about India, China, Europe, UK, Estonia. Now Mexico, they just announced that they're doing Prime in Mexico. So I just emailed the Amazon Mexico team to find out how we can do Prime. I don't know if they're taking third-party sellers yet. Linio is a company I met at Retail Global last year. It's LINIO. They sell in 6 Latin American countries, and they're opening up a facility in Miami so that we'll be able to house our inventory in Miami, and they'll fulfill all those Latin American orders for us. And that's coming in the next, I don't know. Every time I talk to them, they're like, oh yeah, it's this month. So they're trying to work out all the issues of getting a whole like new system in place to serve Latin America, because they see that the big problem we have is shipping to Latin America. And so they're solving that problem for us. Okay. So they're so many opportunities globally. China is opening up. China has a middle class now. They want to buy stuff. So they're not just exporting stuff to us for us to buy, but they want to buy American goods. Did you know that the largest maker of chopsticks is here in Georgia?
No,
It's true.
Wow.
When Chinese people use chopsticks, they get them from Georgia.
That's awesome.
So these are all huge opportunities, and the barrier to entry, it's challenging because, like, even just in the UK, you have to go through the HRMC and get your VAT application, and then there's some countries you need VAT and some you don't, and some you need to have certain sales thresholds before you need to collect that or whatever. But it's like, it can be overwhelming as a small business person. So I'm trying to leverage Scanner Monkey to learn about these things for our community. But I mean, I was talking to the guys from Lineo, and they were like, part of the challenge we have here is, you know, like in China, if a Chinese company wants to sell something on a new marketplace or a new platform, they throw like 500 people at it, right? And those people are all like PhD level people. I mean, they are like smart people. And they're all like, how do we figure out Amazon.com? How do we figure out Amazon Mexico? You know, and here we are, you know, Milas and his one partner and me and like Deneen,
Right.
and we're all like small businesses, and we still are trying to leverage the same power, and we just don't have those hundreds of people to throw at these challenges. But I'm hoping to bring more of this knowledge to the community, because I think that's another great chance to expand as international.
And that's why I wanted our local group to meet, look, because you get into so many nuances of stuff that you don't get into in the groups. Like when we all meet now, like we did at Deneen, and we're going to meet again, so we can talk about those little bitty things, you know. And so we're not all learning the same thing by ourselves, because that slows us all down.
Absolutely. I think any kind of masterminding, or whether it's, some people do really well with online masterminds, some people like to do in person. I know people who what they do is they online, and then maybe once a year they all meet up in one place. So there's a lot of ways to do it. But I do think that connecting with a smaller group of sellers that you can develop trust with, and so you're not like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, I have this product and blah, blah.
Right.
You can actually, here it is, here's my listing, what's wrong with, you know, you can just kind of open the raincoat and share with each other. So, and we have a lot of mastermind groups that have started through Scanner Monkey. One of the things I highly recommend people do is don't just chat in the group. Like, do chat in the group, but PM people, ask for their phone number, call them up, talk to people. You don't have to be at a conference to meet people. Have a conference call with coffee instead of meeting at Starbucks. Do it online. Like, there are ways to connect in a personal, intimate way, like online or whatever. Not intimate, but you know what I mean. So anyway, now, are you looking at international at all?
I haven't yet. You know, it's about trying to eat the elephant a bite at a time.
Ugh, I hate that expression.
Okay, how about don't try to boil the ocean?
There you go.
So I definitely want to, but I feel like, you know, I'm not even, you know, I'm still getting my feet wet. You know, I don't want to spread myself too thin. I want to be a laser and not a flashlight.
Right. One thing I do think, because I sell some grocery, I'm not even looking at doing grocery in international. Like, I don't want to deal with it. So I think it also depends what category you're in terms of, you know, and I don't know. I know there's opportunities to do this, but let's take your Skittles example. Like, let's say you wanted to sell in the UK, you could just order them from a UK supplier and do all this stuff, have people do it all in the UK versus shipping it from here to there. But if you're not doing that, I'm just nervous about food rules and regulations. So I kind of, but I've heard, my understanding is coffee does not have all those rules, and so a lot of people sell coffee in other countries, or some people. Barrington McIntosh did a whole course about coffee. I didn't take the class, but it's supposed to be, really good. And I have a lot of respect for Barrington. So anyway, enough about that. So another way to expand is on different marketplaces and on your own website. So is that what you want to do? Do you want to build up your own website?
Absolutely, because I think long term, you have to, I learned from my pizza failure experience that if you want to be established like the big guys, you have to execute like the big guys. Just because you're not their size doesn't mean you can't employ the same strategies. So the products that I'm doing, I want to build it around a brand that you can defend. Like Nike, that's like saying I want to do shoes, but it doesn't matter what price point the shoes are, Nike's going to sell their shoes. Even though we know you can get 10 shoes for $10, they built such a brand. So that's what I want to build around. So it's not, when I come off of Amazon, my products hold up in the market, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And it's also easier to sell on Amazon if you have off Amazon.
And to get wholesalers and everything else. Yep. Like one of the things I'm doing is I'm building apps for the brand. So like Movie Night Treats. So in the Skittles, it'll have an insert, get your free app. And that'll be Movie Night Treats where, I'll probably do movie reviews, try to sell movie posters. Everything around the movie experience is how I want to build the brand. And it's like the Skittles are the little introduction,
Okay. Yeah, I need to work on that with my private label. Like I don't do a very good job with the packaging. I know that it's an opportunity when you private label something to put messaging on your packaging. I mean, you have to be compliant with Amazon's terms of service, but if you buy anything from like, I don't care wherever, Nestle, whatever, it has their website, it has their information, it has their promotions on the package.
See, and that's what I'm saying.
It does have the website, but it doesn't really, I'm not really taking full advantage of the packaging yet.
And that's why I say get your free app, like it's part of your order, not go to this website. So, and because I'd rather them have an app than go to my website anyway, because if I can get on the phone, get on there, I can send them text mail, I can do everything that a website can't. Every time for a website to get a sale, you got to get them to come back. But if they get your app, they're there.
Maybe I need to do a curvy app.
Exactly. Yes.
Get your curves app. I don't know. I have to think about what that would look like. So this is the other great thing that can happen when you talk to other sellers is you guys can, we can help each other. We can get ideas. I always get inspired when I talk to Milas. Do we have any questions for Milas from the audience? We've definitely got the Atlanta people in the house. Deneen is in the audience, and we got Dong, and we had
Robert.
So we have a few Atlantans here. Forgive me if I've forgotten anyone that is from Atlanta or lives in Atlanta. Are you from Atlanta originally? You're from somewhere else, right?
Well, I was born in Utah, but my family's all from Atlanta. Yep.
Oh, okay. So what are you thinking your timeline in terms of transitioning from arbitrage to, are you just going to give that up, or are you going to switch totally to private label? What are you thinking?
RA is going to fund my private label. So it's like I will tie it off at a certain amount. Like I want to get my RA to around $25K a month. That's where I'll stay. And it will just fund my products. So
okay.
Source. I don't want to grow it. I don't want to leave it because that's my capital to keep releasing products.
That's a very good, that's a great idea. Karen joined us. Hey, Karen. She just had a birthday. So what do you think if you had to advise somebody who was like maybe not just getting started, but sort of struggling? Do you think you could help them like figure out how to approach their business to grow?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's, that's the short answer, I guess. Because let's see who's on here. I'm trying to think who's on. I definitely have even just gone and spent the day with people just to help them from around Atlanta, from the group. That's what we got to do, because I know if I can get them past that, they're probably going to learn something. Then they can just show me. Like, let's get all this out the way. Okay, let me show you how to do this. Okay, now go learn something I don't know. So then you can show me, you know?
It's funny, like the people that, it's so true. There's like that kind of like when you're racing and one person pulls a little bit ahead and then the other person pulls a little bit ahead. And you kind of never know when that, who's going to be the one that's going to pull you forward. So it's always good to help other people. And
Yeah.
I know that I've gotten huge returns from helping the community as much as I can. So now you're going to do food bundles, but you're looking for a non-food product when you go to China, like a container of
Yes.
some sort, right?
Yes. Like I said, like Movie Night Treats is the first brand. So I want to do like popcorn bowls. I want to do some licensing to do some other like I want to sell movie posters and put those with my products, like the mug, bundles like that for
Right.
especially for Christmas. Just all around the movie experience. That's the first one I want to build out. I have these bags I want to build. Like when you go to the movies, one of the problems is they make noise when you want to bring your own candy, whatever. So I want to do like these linen bags that are movie night treat bags that your candy goes in, and it comes with the candy in the bag. So it's called a movie night grab bag. So you can just
Okay.
grab and take that. Just everything around the movie experience is what I'm building out. So I have a list of ideas to go over there to China to do, and I want to use the food as the way to let people raise awareness about the brand.
It would be kind of cool that you could do, if you could do a series of like kind of like white papers, but you could do like, if you're in your 30s and you're having a date night, check out these 5 movies. If you're, if it's family night with teens, watch these 5 movies. And you could kind of do a few targeted movie lists by demographics.
Yep.
Or, are you a parent of a teen? Make sure you watch this movie together from when you were a teen, and kind of do some cool movie lists so that they can think about what movies to watch. Cause
Yep.
it's hard. I mean, I know even though I'm a movie fanatic, I used to be a movie fanatic before I had kids. I've kind of cut way back on that since I had children, but I forget that like my son hasn't seen all the same movies I have, like growing up, like the great movies that I've seen. So I need to take that time with him. So that's one of the cool things that I'm trying to learn with my Facebook marketing class I'm taking with Rachel and general is how to reach different people and provide them stuff that's valuable. So I think there's so many tie-ins with movies that you could do.
Mm-hmm. And eventually I want to be able to scale it up. So you have like levels. Like at some point I want to sell the home theater chairs. I want it all the way, a complete vertical. Because when I was over in China, they had these beautiful leather recliners, like home theater seats. And I asked them, I said, these aren't in the US. And I said, how much is that? She was like, well, that was $278. That was easily a $2,000 chair. I said, well, if I need a couple for the showroom, would that be okay? She's like, yes, we can send samples over. Just pay for shipping. I was like, okay, I'll keep that in mind. So when y'all see all these home theater chairs or whatever, that's where it comes from.
Okay. You could also do a monthly subscription box. Yeah, that's an area that I'm sort of curious about. I met one person at a conference he's doing very well with monthly subscription boxes. I mean, he even does like a mystery box. So you don't even know what you're getting if people pay for that. But you could do your monthly movie night subscription box and it had everything you need and I don't know, just throwing that out there.
The key to all of this is getting them to my own property. And then you could definitely, that's where the story of your brand comes from. That's going to protect you from someone else selling a popcorn bowl.
There is actually like a site, and I forget what it's called, where you can do subscription boxes through the site. I forget what it is, but you can set up your own box and then people will go and find it and buy it. I don't know exactly how it works, but the guy that I met, he does it on eBay and he kind of does it all himself through eBay. But the other thing that I think is interesting is Amazon just started doing their own subscription box. They just started a STEM subscription box for kids.
Okay.
So I don't know if they're going to keep that exclusively their domain or if they're going to open that up and let us do subscription boxes through Amazon as well. But they're pretty hot. I can't imagine Amazon wants to not have that revenue, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it's going to go. We'll kind of see how that plays out.
Okay.
So when you went to China, you've been once, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So what do you fly first class? You go coach? Like, what's it like going?
Woo. One thing I learned was to take the shortest route possible. It's a little more money, but when you don't speak the language, like I went the first time, I went to New York, Beijing, to Guangzhou, and when you're exchanging international flights, you have to get don't take a carry-on. I mean, only take a carry-on. Do not check baggage, because if you get in a time crunch and you got to go get your baggage and recheck it, so I learned to take the shortest route. And yes, because I take economy because anything up is a lot of money. Like the tickets usually like $800, but if you go to like first class, it's like 12 grand.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I go coach, and I go to LA to Guangzhou. That's the shortest route.
Okay.
By the time I get in China, I'm there. I don't have to go through Beijing and try to find my way. And oh my God, it was terrible.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. It's faster to go through California than it is to go through New York.
Mm-hmm. But I found that out after they told me after I got there.
Right? It's always like that. You know, one thing I've learned is that, you know, I always think like the first time I go to a show or the first time I go to a conference or the first time I do this, I'm going to maximize. I'm going to get as much out of as I can. And there's just no substitute for going over and over again. You do learn over time. So what are you going to do differently besides, so you're going to go through LA this time. What else are you going to do differently this trip to China?
Actually taking a couple of people with me because, you know, I learned there's nothing more valuable than having someone who's there or as a chaperone. So 2 people from Atlanta are going with me to show them, and I'm gonna have an interpreter this time. It really helps ease the friction, and interpreters aren't very expensive. They're like $75 for the day. So now when I go to the fair, I can really have conversations instead of talking like a caveman, you know, minimum order, different color. You know, it's not like so now we can actually talk, you know, and if I want to go to a factory or something like that, I have the interpreter to get us there, you know. So those are the main 2 things: traveling different, bringing someone with me, and a translator. And now I know a list of products I want to develop when I get there.
Okay, so you're already targeting. Are you contacting manufacturers ahead of time to try to set up appointments, or?
Not really. I did, but it just didn't seem like it was. Because the people that are going to the fair, a lot of them aren't on Alibaba.
Right.
That's the other thing I learned. So there's really no way to start that communication till I get there. And the other thing is, when you get there, I can already see the product. That saves the ship me a sample.
Yeah.
You know, I already see the product, so I can go ahead. Okay, I'm gonna order this.
Yeah. One thing that we did a show with some people who'd been to China last week, I thought was really interesting that they talked about is how bad the internet is there.
Oh, yes.
And so if you have like samples or ideas or visions or concepts, print everything out and bring hard copies with you, because do not count on being able to look up anything on your phone when you're on your laptop.
Because everything is blocked on top of that.
Everything is blocked. And I recently went to a security luncheon and learned that not only is it blocked, but it is all scanned.
Yeah.
Do not bring a device with you that you do not want the Chinese government knowing everything that's on your device.
You can almost feel it scanning. Yeah.
They can see everything on your phone, on your laptop, whatever. They've scanned it and they have got all that data.
There was a couple times my iPhone just rebooted. And I was like, really?
Yep.
You know, just reboot it.
Yep.
But to get internet, in case anybody's curious, I use a VPN app on the phone that lets me get to Facebook and Gmail when I'm there.
Okay.
And if you go there, don't give them a Gmail address because they can't write you. So get a normal domain email.
What about WhatsApp? Do you use that?
For them, no. I use mainly Skype.
Because I've heard that WhatsApp is like really commonly used in China, and I haven't really delved in. I have downloaded it and then I haven't messed with it a lot.
Okay. I haven't used it to talk to them. It's really been all Skype.
Okay. We'll check it out. Well, we're getting to the top of the hour. Do you have any more like kind of lessons that you've learned from your experience with the pizza business or your business experience in general that you're applying? Any last minute tips?
Yeah, the biggest thing is I understand that I need to build a business off of Amazon. Amazon is its own world, and you don't want to get trapped there. You know, it's like the bug zapper. You just stay there, and it's so pretty, but you don't have a company. You don't have a company. So DaVinci's has taught me that you can build something for yourself. Just apply the same principles the big guys do. You know, I
Okay.
look at, because I thought before I did pizza, should I do a franchise? Should we try to do a franchise? We're like, no, we know how to, it's pizza.
Right.
You know, so whatever toy you have, whatever, you guys got to have a story around it. That's it. You can do it.
Okay. That's very good advice. So thank you so much, Milas, for being on the show. Thank you guys, everybody, for tuning in live. Thank you, everybody who's watching the replay. For those of you who don't know, Scanner Monkey is a group of motivated sellers with great ideas, encouragement, suggestions, and product discounts in a no-drama environment. It doesn't matter if you are a newbie or have some experience. You'll find your tribe at Scanner Monkey. That is from one of our members, Gusha. And you can learn more at scannermonkey.com. It's only $20 a month. And Milas, thank you so much for both being a member of Scanner Monkey and being in the Atlanta Online Sellers community. It's been a privilege to get to know you. And I look forward to working together in the future.
And tell everybody, come to our meeting. Let's all sit down and grow
Heck
together.
yeah. Absolutely. Next time we're gonna meet at DaVinci's. So all right, everyone, fly in from wherever to come to our next meeting at DaVinci's. You're all invited wherever you live. Yes, pizza. They even do you have like vegan pizza, right?
Yes.
So Carol, you can come. They have vegan pizza because Carol's like a super granola crunchy person. So I bet she wants some vegan pizza. Fly in from Denver. All right, everybody, good night. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next week. Have a great week.
Okay, bye.